Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Salvatore Rex. Today we're going to be talking about card forces, specifically for beginners. So if you're relatively new to card magic, or brand new to card magic, or you've got some time behind you but you're looking for some inspiration, this video is for you. So let's talk about it. The first thing we're going to discuss is what is a force. A force, put simply, is the magician knows the position of one particular card in the deck and forces the spectator to choose it, and the spectator has to believe it was a free selection. That's it. So any way you can get someone to pick a card that you already know and you make sure they pick that card, that's a force. There's a lot of ways to do it, some of them more hard than others. We'll discuss some later, some of the easier ones and some applications. But I just wanted to really go over the fundamentals of what these things are and what they can do. So we've already established that a force is forcing someone to pick a card. Now, what can you do with the force? There's a million things you can do with forces. You can have a prediction. In the card box, write down 7 of clubs and then force the 7 of clubs on the spectator, have them hang on to that piece of paper the whole time, and you have a miracle. I think there's a lot of validity to a straight force like that, where all you do is force a card, predict the outcome, and that's it. The spectator is amazed. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite routines using a card force later. That's super fooling, but very, very easy to do. So let's take a look at some forces and discuss their applications. Today we're going to be discussing 2 forces in particular. They're the first 2 forces everybody learns, and they're pretty easy to do. So I'll give you an example of the first one. So this is, I believe, a pretty shuffled deck of cards. Now, I want to make a prediction. So let me just go through the deck, and I'm going to pull out a card and set it to the side. Perfect. So this card's going to go right here on top of the card box. And I would tell the spectator, I'm going to riffle down the side, just tell me when to stop. They say stop, we show them the card. Can you see that? Autofocus, there we go. So we show them this card, and we can cut it right back into the deck, and we don't need to touch the cards anymore. I ask the spectator, what was your card? The spectator says the ace of clubs. So here I have the mate, the ace of spades. Small prediction, impromptu. So let's talk about it. All you need to do this force is a little bit of guts. It's a pretty gutsy force, I'm not gonna lie. And it's gonna teach you, if you perform this, I promise it's going to teach you a lot about people's attention and how to get it where you need to get it, or what we call misdirection in magic. The reality is this force is super, super simple and it's done right in front of the spectator's face, but you do it with a certain swiftness and confidence, and they never, ever notice it. It flies right by them every time. So here's the mechanics of how it works. You're gonna riffle down the side of the pack. You're gonna stop at the actual spot where they say stop. And what you're gonna do is peel off this top packet, this whole thing, let it rotate once into your hand, and present the top card. Or if you're on Zoom, you can just show the top card like that. But I usually like to do this and just hold this out and let them choose the top card. And what you're gonna do with this packet is you're just gonna bring it like this, close to the body, and lower than the original packet and away. Just so the spectator has a really hard time following if you can catch where the top card goes. So you riffle, you break, you flip, you present, and this half the deck comes close to you. Works every time. Doesn't seem like it would, but it does. Now, the thing about this channel and what I want to get across in everything, especially in this case, because this is just a move. It is a very, very simple move. Almost nothing to it. Riffle, you flip it out, and you look at the card. I've taught this to 12-year-olds. Now, that's easy to do. What's not easy to do is create something around it. Create a routine or a trick around it that is as amazing to the spectator as anything else is that you do it. So don't just sort of, force the card and then say, oh, your card is the 4 of diamonds. I know it, don't worry. And then move on. Make a production out of it. Make something larger out of it. What I like to do with a direct force like this, where the card is sort of actually lost in the deck, so I can't produce it, I can't do anything else with it. All I can do is sort of tell you what your card is. So what I like to do is play with their mind a little bit, make them think that what I'm doing is something other than what I've done. I'll give you the example. So this is my normal pattern for how I do this routine. So I get a look at the top card. In this case, it's the 10 of diamonds. Tell the spectator, tell me to stop. They say stop, great. Look at your card. We'll just give them that card. Look at your card, remember it. Perfect, we put it back on the deck, cut it into the deck, and it's out of our hands. Now what I tell the spectator to do is repeat after me. Red, black. Spectator says red, black. And you can say something like, well, I heard a little variation in red, or I heard you hesitate when you said the word red, so I think it's a red card. Am I right? And they're gonna say, of course, yes. And you're gonna say, great. Now we're down to the suits. So it's gonna be a heart or a diamond. I want you to say heart, diamond. Spectator's gonna say heart, diamond. You might have them repeat it just to really sell that you are doing something. So just tell them, I'm sorry, repeat it one more time, heart, diamond, and they say heart, diamond, and you say, great, it's a diamond. And then I'll say something like, I want you to count from 1 to 10. And they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll make up some silly excuse, say, you know what, I heard a little variation. I heard a little bit of a deviation when you said 10. I think your card was the 10 of diamonds. And they're amazed. They have no idea how you did it. Because of the presentation, you are essentially misdirecting them after the fact. You are making another possibility possible as to the explanation for your ability to do this trick. Now, you don't have to go on the mentalism route. You can go any route you want with the force. That's where I tend to go. And I think that it's really effective, and also, obviously incredibly simple, because all it requires is this motion, and you could probably get that done in about a half hour, and a lot of work on presentation, which I think is generally more valuable than difficult card moves. So it's about enough of that force. I'll be honest, I don't know the name of that force. I totally forgot it. So I'm sorry about that. If I do find it, I will put it in the description, and I'll put any links I can think of to other resources on it, other handlings of it. But that's the first force we're going to be discussing. The second force we're going to be talking about is called the crisscross force, or the cross-cut force. It's pretty well known. It's devilishly simple, and it's so versatile, you can even have the spectator force the card on themselves. So here's what we're going to do. We're forcing the top card, let's say the 9 of clubs. You're going to have the spectator cut about half of the cards to the table. And they're going to take the other half and just put it kind of on top, like that, staggered. So this employs the use of something called time misdirection. The idea that given enough time, the spectator will forget certain details or the orientation of the cards or something you've said. They will forget things if you give them something else to focus on. So you can have them stop at a position like this right here and say, you could have stopped at any card, show your prediction, have them take your prediction out of their pocket, whatever you want to do to get yourself a little time is all you need. Because remember, we're trying to force, not this card, we're trying to force this card right here. See, I just forced myself. So all we need to do is have them forget that this is the top of the deck and this is not the top of the deck. That's all we're trying to do, is basically give enough time, and trust me, it will work. It will work pretty much every time. They will forget the orientation of the cards. So eventually you can say, look, you could have cut to any card in the deck. You cut to the 9 of clubs and show your prediction, or show another deck with a 9 of clubs turned around, faced up in it, like whatever it is that you want to do that will ultimately give you the best presentation possible is what we're looking for here. All I'm giving you is moves and ideas. It's up to you to be creative with them and to find something that's going to fit your voice. One more time, just so we're all on the same page with the crosscut force. I know it's super simple, but I just want to go over it again so that there's no confusion. And if there is, of course, please comment or message me or whatever you want to do. I don't mind answering questions about any of these things, especially if I miss something, which is likely. So once again, the crisscross force. The spectator can do this to themselves. So you tell the spectator, please cut the cards. So they take half and cut the cards. So this is the original half. So you're going to take the bottom half and you're going to place it like this on the top half. I'll move this a little to the center. Place like that to the top half. That's all you're going to do. And then wait. That's it. You're going to do this and you're going to wait. And then we can get this out of the way. Try to move it as far away as you can so that way they can't quite backtrack, and then show your force card and then move on with your presentation. It's that simple. It's just time misdirection. It's just the spectator losing perspective on which was the top packet and which wasn't. Both forces we looked at today use that same principle of sort of the issue of tracking the top card of the deck and how difficult that is for a spectator to do when you're talking and moving and not giving them the time to, fully obtain the information you're telling them. So yeah, that's the crosscut force. Now, I don't want this video to run too long, but I did want to do a few closing thoughts on forces in general, especially the two we looked at today. These are creative tools, and I want to stress this in all of my videos because that's really what I'm doing here, is I'm giving you tools to be creative, tools to think of your own routines, to think of your own effects. I'm just giving you the tools to get there. You can do so many things with a simple force. There's a trick I do where I have 2 decks preset and I have 1 set aside. I have the spectator keep their eye on it, and it's all blank except for 1 card turned around. I go to my normal deck, I force that card that I know is turned around in the other deck, spread it out in front of them face down. They see their card as the only face-up card and their mind is blown. And then I turn the deck over, show that all the other cards are blank, and they have no clue. No clue anymore. Forces are powerful, and they're simple, and they're really an exercise in creativity. You have a duplicate card, hide it in someone's pocket. Hide it under a vase at a party. Do something weird with it. Force that card and give somebody a real miracle. You can do all this on the fly and be as creative as you want. And that's really what I'm getting at here. That's the thing I love so much about Magic. And not to be too long-winded, not to make this video too long, but I do want to say that the thing I love most about Magic is that it is creative at its heart, is that it is an art form and you are entertaining people with things that you make. Even if a lot of your tricks are made by created by other people, you are the curator, you're the performer, you've done some part. Maybe you've put your own touches on them. If you're a beginner, don't worry about putting your own touches on stuff, just learn stuff. But don't forget that if something sounds cool to you, or if it's something that you'd like to see, try it. It might work. And if you can make it work, you now have something in your repertoire that you can perform forever that you thought of, even as a beginner. There are tricks I thought of in my first month, but I had no idea how to get them done. And it took me a long time to learn how to actually pull off the effect I had thought of. But the fact is, I got there. I made an effect happen that I thought of. And that feeling, to me, is the most beautiful feeling about doing Magic. And I think when you have that fire for it, and you have that creative lens that you're sort of filtering everything through, your spectators will feel that too. But like I said, I don't want this video to run too long. And I can talk about this all day. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe. It greatly helps me. If you want to like this video, that would be really appreciated. And if you have any questions or concerns or comments, or you want to know something about me for some reason, please comment, say anything. I'm perfectly fine. But until then, you guys take care of each other, okay?